The Goddess Repose is a dungeon like no other. Centuries ago, Ayana, the goddess of love, found her powers waning. The power of love was being lost from the world for reasons unknown. No longer did princes and princesses marry for reasons of grand passion, but for secure alliances and economic boons. No longer did adventurers quest to win the hearts of admirers. Instead, they struck out to win piles of gold and to claim grim trophies from the corpses of their foes. And the goddess slowly died. Her body lies in the mortal realm. Finding it was a quest unto itself, with mysteries to solve, challenges to thwart, and enemies to overcome. But it was only a fraction of the challenge before you. Welcome to Dice to Meet You. This is a podcast where we're about to play some Dungeons & Dragons, and hey, it's Season 2. I'm excited for the new campaign. My name is Keith McBlane. I'm the Dungeon Master and your host.
I'm Glen Tickle. I play Grouse, the rogue who's so good at doing secret flips.
I'm Jacob Haller. I play Skullbutt, the bard who is a small cat.
I'm Tara Dunderdale. I play Audreyn, who is going through some changes.
I am Decim, and I am your big old cuddly bear.
Welcome, everyone, and like I said, it's Season 2, so if you're in the audience and you're joining us for the first time, now is actually the perfect time to do that. So just to briefly introduce what we do here, before we started recording this podcast, we actually had not at all met each other before. So we've had a full season, a full campaign to get to know each other, and now we're starting a new adventure. So just if you're even not familiar with what Dungeons & Dragons is, just to briefly explain that. Basically, I've created an entire fantasy world for my players to go through here. I'll be describing all the events that happen and and I'll be controlling all of the characters in the world. These guys each control one hero, one adventurer, and they do things by describing the actions that their players take. And if there's ever a chance for failure, if they're trying to perform a certain skill or, say, attack a monster, then the outcomes of those actions are decided by dice rolls and the stats that they've used to build their character. So to get us started off, I know I asked you all some particular questions about your characters, things to consider. So I think what we're going to do first is we're actually going to play out the scene where the party first encounters Skullbutt and that new member gets on board. So let's see. I know it's a little cliche to start things off in a tavern, but you're in a tavern. So you've been the three of you have been traveling towards the Goddess Repose, this legendary dungeon in this new world that you find yourselves in, and you're going there because clues indicate that that the person you're supposed to find, Pin, this porcupine, has gone there. So you're eager to learn any details that you can about this dungeon and about this world in general. So you're you're in this tavern, and a song catches your ear because this small cat is playing a song about the Goddess Repose. So that immediately piques your interest. So I guess do one of you want to walk up and say hi?
I will. Hi.
I do too. I was just pausing to cough violently. Yeah.
I was waiting because I thought maybe Jacob was going to sing.
No pressure, Jacob.
Let me get back to you on that. I'll be more prepared with some songs in the future. Okay, so you're walking up and you're saying hello.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello, travelers. Looks like you're adventurers. My name's Skullbutt.
Question. For Keith.
Yes.
Is this before or after I have taught everybody else the language here?
Yeah, you spent a few months in sort of the starting village, as it were, because for people just joining us, the three characters played by Glen, Tara, and Troy, they were actually sent here basically across dimensions, across multiverses, basically to go on this mission to find this porcupine named Pin. And
I get it.
And they were yep, pretty good, right? I made up that name a long time ago, basically right off the top of my head in the middle of a session, so don't blame me.
I really like that you said that last week, and I just did not pick up on it.
So you got sent to this world, and you just sort of showed up not even speaking the language. But luckily, Tara has a helm of comprehend languages, so she was able to learn the grammar and pass it on to the rest of you with relative ease. I mean, you've still probably all got a bit of an accent, but which marks you as outsiders. But you're able to speak the language well enough.
So we've been here. So I've been a mouse man for a while.
You've been a mouse man for a while, yeah.
How excited I am about it.
I don't think you do.
It's basically like we've adjusted to the change in body shape, so we're not just like falling over every time we try to take a step anymore.
Yeah.
Our center of gravity has realigned.
And I'm not just running around screaming about how cool it is to be a mouse.
Also, when these guys were sent over, they all turned into anthros. That was anthropomorphic animals. That was their choice, not mine. Basically, the magic that sent them across dimensions also meant that they sort of had to be deconstructed and recreated in different bodies that fit the shape and the I guess the natural laws of the new world. So that's a thing that happened. Anyway, continue role playing.
Wait, I have one question for Keith.
Oh yeah.
So, like, we learn the language here that everyone else speaks, but, like, if we wanted to speak in code to each other, could we just go back to speaking our primary language?
Yes, you could.
Okay, that's awesome.
Right on.
And basically no one on this world would know that language unless they've got some magical means of comprehending it.
Okay.
Okay, so what can I do for you guys?
We're trying to go to that place you're singing about.
Oh, really? Yeah, me too. Yeah, it sounds really interesting.
Yep, sure does. Do you know how to get there?
Man, we're doing great. So why? So what's your reason for wanting to find it?
Remember, but
welcome to season 2, everybody.
Okay,
I don't think we have one yet, right? We're just looking for this guy's daughter.
All right, this is me talking out of character. It's because you heard that someone who might be pinned.
Oh yeah.
Might be there.
We're trying to find.
Okay, I'm back in character now.
Did I not just say that a couple minutes ago?
Well, that was my clue, but
can I make?
Sorry,
these
I'll
subtle
stop
things.
looking at feminist coloring books online and pay attention.
Never say that again, Tara.
Can I just pretend that was in character so that Grouse seems like a dummy and not me for forgetting a thing from 2 minutes?
No, I will forget everything between sessions. So.
We are trying to find a tiny porcupine lady.
Yeah, something that Skullbutt knows that the rest of the party might not necessarily know at this point is that there are all types of crazy legends about this Goddess's Repose. That basically it's sort of like this ultimate adventuring venue. That it's just this big old dungeon that plenty of people have gone to over the ages, but no one has ever come out of. And of course, being that it's like such a big, significant sort of feature of this world, pretty much everyone thinks that there's some kind of incredible treasure in there. Either like enough wealth to own your own kingdom, or like knowledge beyond that of mere mortals, or like even a godlike power that could allow you to make and unmake worlds. So sort of everyone has different ideas about what this treasure might be, and different reasons for wanting to go on this adventure.
Is it just like a demon feeding tube?
Why does it have
Spoiler
"to
alert.
serve man" carved over the door?
Only one way to find out.
I really like that every first episode of a new season, Tara's basically just ruining the storyline.
Did I do that last time? Oh,
Yes,
because
you
I
did.
didn't trust the princess.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
jump, you were onto that
And
lady.
you thought that we were a sacrifice.
I just like that we're literally 5 seconds into this encounter.
All right, well then.
I mean, am I ruining it, or am I just
No, you're
prescient?
well, okay, so you're going to look for a porcupine? That's
Well,
I've heard of a
ostensibly,
lot of
we have
reasons
to
for
go
going
find
to
this porcupine lady, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm in it for that sweet, sweet treasure. So,
Wait, okay. Wait.
And I guess I'll just reiterate some of the details that about Pin that you're supposed to, I guess, use to identify her.
got a flute?
Her father, the one who sent you on this quest, says that she carries a flute and a strange weapon.
Yeah. Do you know any
So yeah,
flute playing porcupines?
I mean, this is a world where we're looking for a porcupine, so like,
and
strange
there are
weapon,
a lot
I
of
don't
porcupines in this world. So
quite
yeah,
know what that means.
I mean, there are definitely a lot of porcupines around. Why are you looking for this one in particular?
Because her dad asked us to. I think. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a private investigator kind of
More or
thing?
less.
Sure.
I mean,
don't
if you
know.
put it that way,
We're
yeah.
on an adventure.
Yeah, we do adventure stuff like find porcupine, flute playing
We're
porcupine.
pros.
All right. Obviously, this is none of my business, but I noticed that you all seem to have kind of an unusual accent that I've never heard before, and I've done a fair amount of traveling. Just out of curiosity, where are you guys from?
The woods.
I don't know.
Like, clearly you haven't heard of us before, but does the term Pokemon Master ring any bells? Because you're looking.
I
at
don't know
one.
how to answer that honestly. So I'm just be like, I've only been a mouse for a couple of months. It's pretty great. Still feeling it out.
Well, I definitely respect deeply our mouse brothers, and I certainly
This is
I have
coming
nothing
from a
bad to say
cat?
about that.
yes, it is.
Okay. Just double
I feel like it's
checking.
more of a Zootopia situation where everybody's cool with everybody.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're gonna go full on Itchy and Scratchy at some point.
I I mean, I definitely okay. So you came from the woods. That story
Yeah,
checks
totally
out for
the
sure.
woods.
It's true. Audryn grew up in the woods.
I feel like there's some steps missing between you being in the woods and you going to find a porcupine. But I also understand people go to the Goddess's Repose for a number of reasons, and not all of those reasons are ones they necessarily want to share with other people.
Speaking of which, why do you want to go?
Well, it's interesting you ask that. So, as I said, I've done a lot of traveling around, and I've heard a lot of stories about the Goddess's Repose, and they all contradict each other. I don't know what's true and what isn't, and I'm very curious as to find out what's there. And I feel like if I go there, I'll get I'll have adventures and I'll get stories and I'll be able to write songs about those stories, and I'll just it'll be really interesting and just sort of get me on my way to where I want to be as a cat bard. So I'm just really interested in seeing what's there. I've been here for a few days and hoping to find some people to travel with, and you guys are kind of the first people I've seen. And I would be lying also as a bard if I said that I wasn't kind of curious as to what your situation is, but I also will try to respect your privacy. But there seems like there might be some interesting things going on here. And so I'd be interested in traveling with you if you think you might be interested. I feel like I have some skills that might be of assistance for you.
Do you know how to get to the Goddess's Repose?
Yeah, that's kind of a big one for us at the moment.
I do know that.
Cool, you're in.
Yes. It's a pretty big attraction in these parts, and I can definitely get you there.
Important question.
Sure.
What is your stance on setting people on fire and gleeful murder?
I would say I definitely won't set more than one person on fire at a time the first time I meet them.
You got a hard limit at one?
Sorry, no, that's... Yeah. So, no, that's a joke. Of course, I would. I'm really... Certainly, I can take care of myself in a fight. And at this point, I kind of lift up one of my hands and the claws come out. And it's kind of like Wolverine, if Wolverine were like a 3 foot tall, slightly pudgy cat. And the claws were like half an inch long
like
instead
Wolverine
of
if
a
it
foot
wasn't
long.
Even a little bit impressive.
Adorable.
That's more or less what I was trying to get across, yeah. But I'm really more, I really prefer to talk things out, and then I also, if it does come to it, I have certain spells and skills that can be helpful for the other people around me in terms of giving them advantage in combat and things like that.
So basically bard stuff.
Bard stuff, yes.
Cool.
Cool, but not chaotic evil. Just wanted to make sure we didn't have more than one of those in our group.
I'm not chaotic evil. I am chaotic neutral.
Oh, that's right. You went to therapy.
Yeah, I think Ashes got bumped down to evil, but he went from,
okay.
I think, good to neutral, right?
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like the four of you are about to set out together.
Yeah, high fives all around. Let's do this thing.
All right. I put the claws back in before we high five. Because that's common courtesy.
All right, so we're gonna skip over some stuff and basically just get you right to the Goddess's Repose. We're gonna skip, I guess, a lot of walking and orienteering with a map. So you journey on for another couple of months because it is a bit of a hike to get there. So I guess during that sort of skip, I'll ask you some questions about your characters. Having been introduced to this place, the Goddess's Repose, as sort of this place holding the ultimate treasure, I mean, I guess you can't help but be a little bit curious about what might be inside. And also, I mean, I guess since you've just come here and you are relatively new to the bodies that you have, sort of what has that adjustment process been like, and is there anything that's sort of changed about your characters or their personalities since you got here? And also, for Decim specifically, what god do you worship now? Because you're not going to get your cleric powers working until you've sort of established a relationship with a new god.
Okay. One, I'd have to just get the details of both gods again. And two, so we're all anthropomorphic, right?
Yeah.
But our stature is relative to whatever animal we chose.
Correct. So you're a bear now.
So Tara, Glenn, and Jacob are all very relatively small, and I am huge. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're not used to being the tall one, having been a dwarf earlier, but now you're like a large bear, so you're probably like looking at least 6 feet, probably taller.
Am I also a cuddly bear? Like, am I like absolutely fluffy or?
Oh, for sure, no doubt.
I guess that's up to you.
It really comes down to how well you maintain your fur.
All right, I want to be fluffy, not menacing,
You shampooing that regularly,
and conditioned.
keeping it light and soft.
You don't want to over shampoo. That's actually, you're going to strip all the natural oils away.
That's true.
Hi everyone, welcome to our bear haircast.
You blow dry it every morning.
Sometimes.
How to get a glossy bear in 4 easy steps.
My own personal grooming tip is just lick yourself all over all the time.
Listen, I'm sure you just take
Nice to roll around in
beard
dust.
oil. I don't know how many of you have actually seen my partner, but I know a little bit about like bear maintenance.
Okay, so the gods. As you know, there's Ayana, the dead goddess of love, but she's not exactly handing out cleric spells in her condition, that condition being dead. But there are three extant gods remaining. There's Frelmig, the god of nature, who is a deer woman, and she's got the Tempest domain as one of her things, so that's a pretty good choice for you. She sort of represents like chaos and the uncontrollable will of the earth and of nature. She's also a trickster and a shapeshifter. Then let's see. There's Galroth. He is the god of he's the god of destruction. He's got a hammer and a shield, similar to Decim. He sort of represents, I guess, like calamity and ruin, but also sort of like determination and the strength to overcome trials and difficulties. Galroth also has Tempest as a domain, so he would also be a good choice for Decim. And then there's Mazig, who is the god of like duality and inevitability. He's sort of like god of life and death, beginnings and ends, and he's sort of the one who like sets the rules for the universe. He's all about sort of like order and I guess like immutable laws and things like that.
What class does he have?
He's life, death, and light.
I mean, that sounds pretty dope.
But yeah, you are a Tempest cleric, and that doesn't change. So you would have to. You could still pick Mazig as a god and keep your Tempest domain, but you might have to reason it out a bit.
Okay, so I'll stick to one of the first two. So either a trickster or what was the other one?
Frelmig or Galroth.
I'll go with trickster. It seems most Decim-like.
Okay. So sort of the one I might have expected for you would be Galroth, being that he's the god of destruction, and Decim definitely has some destructive tendencies. But yeah, that's fine that
now.
you picked.
We're really expecting you to stay on brand here.
But yeah, if you want to go Frelmig, that's totally fine, and it also that might inform your character somehow. It might lead you a little bit further away from like pure destruction and more towards sneakiness and pranks, I guess, and shenanigans.
That's what my therapist always wanted.
I mean, how, Decim and shenanigans, how is that different from destruction?
Well, I'm saying those shenanigans might lead less towards killing a man in cold blood.
Cool, great.
So anyway, how about the rest of you? How are you adjusting to life on the road?
Oh, I super love it. Grouse is 100% on board with being a mouse now. He loves everything about this place. He's super into all of it.
Nice. He
also
found his
loves
persona.
not being dead anymore. Really leaning into the being a live mouse guy now.
Nice.
Starting a new life.
Also, I've learned that actions have no consequences because even if you die, you'll eventually be fine.
Okay, that's a development.
And maybe you get to be a mouse.
Right.
I mean, Audryn grew up like living literally in the woods on the road, and she is like her whole adult life was all about like achieving this one goal, and then she achieved it and was like really excited, and then did not know who she was anymore, because I realized as I finished my dissertation that Audryn is a lot of wish fulfillment for how I'm feeling, but
How
so
you just want
like,
to punch holes in demons like all the time?
I mean, if I could solve all the world's problems by punching holes in demons, yes, I would really like to be able to do that. That's something that if I could do that instead of like writing 60,000 words about collective bargaining, like, yeah, that would be a better, more effective way of solving problems. But yeah, so she's like having an identity crisis because all she wanted was to find her family and like move back to her town, and then she did, and she got real bored and had felt like a little bit untethered and like no sense of purpose. So she's like just looking for like anything to be purpose now.
So Audryn is also a goat now.
Yep.
How's she taken to that change?
Medium.
Okay, that's fair.
It didn't change any of my skills very much. They're all, I'm a little bit less perceptive and I think a little slower, but other than that, like relatively the same in terms of dexterity and all that. But she's a goat now because she's sort of like feeling a little bit more sort of solitary and a little bit of wanderlust.
And loves eating cans.
Are goats omnivorous?
I don't know what goats are. I think they're primarily eat like grass and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they eat meat. They just eat a lot of dumb
I don't know that they
stuff.
hunger for flesh or anything.
Well, when I
They just
Googled...
make interesting dietary choices.
When I was growing up, we had goats, and they, I was a little kid, so I was actually shorter than the goats were, and one of them would always try to eat my hair. So there's that.
Tara, I have to ask.
Yeah.
I know you do not play or are very acquainted with video games, but are you familiar that there is a goat video game called Goat Simulator?
Yeah, where you're just like a goat, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not...
My daughter loves that game.
I know nothing about it other than that it exists.
Oh, you should watch it. It's pretty great.
What? Like watch people play it?
5 seconds of it, and you'll know exactly why I suggest it.
Okay. I mean, I know somebody who like raises goats. I could just go to her house and see goats.
But can you simulate those goats?
No.
It is a completely different experience, and it is OT satisfying.
These
Amelia
goats are
super
hardly
loves that
simulated at all. They're right in front of me.
I guess my question is whether or not they eat meat, and if she's adjusting to now being a vegetarian.
You could probably still eat meat. It just might not necessarily treat your insides super good.
Okay. This says, let's see. They'll eat anything that resembles a plant. Okay.
Nice.
Well, get ready for that to become relevant at some point in the story.
Everyone tried real hard to not look like a plant.
Apparently, I failed when I was a kid.
That leafy hair of yours.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, you've been on the road for a while now, and you've been hiking through a very mountainous region, sort of just like going up and down hills and across steep cliff faces all day. And for a while now, you've seen this large looming shadow on the horizon through the heavy fog that blankets this entire region, and now you're close enough to see that this is actually the Goddess Repose. This gigantic looming geographic feature is the petrified body of the dead goddess. So now you have finally arrived at Ayana's resting place, in a valley beyond the fog-shrouded mountain range. A statue looms before you. This titanic creation defies reason with its size. Its head is even too distant to see through the clouds. And so this is the Goddess Repose. From the tales you've heard, you know that the body has been hollowed out over many centuries by monsters making their home, and has become legendary for its complex inner geography. The goddess holds her hands up, as if pleading, and though her face is invisible to you, legend says that she is weeping. So you know not what creatures and challenges await inside the body of the goddess, but nonetheless, you speak the ancient phrase you learned on your travels, the words promised to grant you access to the labyrinthine statue. So mist swirls around you, as if it were called by your words. It grows thicker and thicker until it blocks out the meager overcast sunlight. You are shrouded in darkness. Then, with a sudden jolt of vertigo, you sense that something has changed. The ground you now stand on is not the same surface you treaded only a moment ago. So everything right now is super dark. If you have dark vision, you can see the thing I'm about to read. Otherwise, you're going to have to light a torch or some other source of light.
What about bear vision?
Bear vision. I don't think bears have dark vision, do
I don't
they?
think that's even a thing.
Nah. You had dark vision as a dwarf, then I think you lost it when you got bared.
Have fun bumping into stuff.
When I got bared.
When you got bared.
When you done got bared real good.
Also, I just learned a new thing about goats, if anybody wants to know.
Let's hear it.
Yes,
What do you got?
please.
Farm wisdom.
They have been described as eating machines and biological control agents when they're used for clearing dry brush for areas endangered by wildfire, and they can be used to remove invasive species like thorned blackberry vines and poison oak. In case that becomes relevant...
Fuck yeah, you should put biological control agent on your business card.
I'm kind of impressed that you can eat poison oak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, goats can.
Yeah, well,
Pres-
I really
Presumably-
like that Audreyn has been like looking for purpose and meaning, and she's like, I get to eat everything.
I'm gonna eat so many vines.
What's up? You got an invasive plant species? I got a mouth.
Listen, you guys are
Damn.
gonna... Something's gonna happen and you're gonna have, like, creeping vines, you know, trying to trap you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like,
I'm
if
really
only
looking forward to how this is all going to play out.
one of us could eat an enormous amount of vines.
We fight a giant Venus flytrap, and she's just like, you know what, guys, I got this.
All right, so it's super dark right now. If you can see things, if you've got dark vision, or if you decide to light up a torch, you see that the mist begins to recede, and you find yourselves in a towering cavern. Looking up, you cannot see the ceiling through the darkness, but you do see a crisscrossing network of stone bridges and tunnels. The sound of rushing water echoes all around you, but you determine its source to be a tunnel to your left. There's also a tunnel leading to a small alcove behind you to the south, and 2 tunnels ahead to the north. To your right is what looks like a staircase of crudely worked stone leading up to the next level. So you've got a left tunnel, a back tunnel, 2 front tunnels, and stairs up. What do you do?
so I think I'm the only one who can see, right?
No, I have dark vision
Grouse
as
can
well.
see.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Stairs sound good. Do you know anything about tunnels?
I've never heard any reliable accounts of anyone coming back from this, so I know as little as you, really.
I mean, we could Scooby-Doo it and everybody take a tunnel.
Jinkies.
And then we all die in the first episode.
I think I think we should stay together. That's just, I mean, you guys are the professional adventurers and all, but I think there's safety in numbers. And also,
Write a
I think
song
our
about
DM
it.
would go crazy if he had to talk to each of us separately. So,
I would.
Right, we have to hang
and
up
as
the group
tempting as
chat
that is,
and everyone call them individually to find out what happened.
Yeah.
I have no objection to the stairs. Does anyone have
As
any...
long as there's no doors. We have a problem with doors.
I mean, do we hear anything coming from any of the directions or anything like that?
There's the sound of rushing water, I think from your left?
Okay.
Maybe that is a good idea then.
Have any of you guys lit a torch or
I mean, I have my phone.
Oh.
So
I'll light a
I can
torch.
use the flashlight app.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's good. I'm glad therapy's going well, Decim.
Listen, he's not murdering people. If he still sees electronics that don't exist, that's like progress.
I like to imagine I just like pick up a rock and it's like, damn, the flashlight's not working.
I would say that there is a legend that there are Pokemon here, so.
Oh, don't encourage it.
I may have just made up that legend, but that's legit from a bard kind of perspective. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I'm not super fond of water, but I'm willing to go with whatever the group wants to do.
It just seems like that would be a clear path to follow. I said stairs just because
there's running water. There might
the
be
only
fish.
one that wasn't a tunnel.
There might be what?
There might be fish, and bears like fish.
So do cats. All right. You've got my attention.
Animal high five.
Nice.
The biggest and smallest cat. Well, I don't know. I don't know how big Grouse is.
They high
I'm
five,
3
except
feet tall.
Decim just like accidentally squashes Skullbutt. He goes to high
Grouse is
five him
probably
and just
smaller than Skullbutt.
knocks him over completely.
Yeah, I'm even 3 feet, which Grouse is very excited about because it makes him sneakier because he's little.
Is everyone okay with going to the water?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so you go to the tunnel on your left. You travel only a short distance through the tunnel before you see an obstruction in your path. Long ropes crisscross the ceiling of this passage, and from them dangle strung together bits of metal and glass. They are spaced so closely together that it is impossible to proceed without disturbing them.
Ropes
Man.
or vines?
Ropes.
Damn.
I want to play with those things so much. Just bat them around.
Though I guess ropes are made of natural fiber, so, I mean, you eat cans. How much of a difference can it make?
Fair point.
Some of this
I'm
seems
going to be a
little
fan
racist.
of Goat Audreyn.
Goat Audreyn doesn't have the same sense of purpose and really just wants to see what this goat stomach can handle.
Goats just really want to have fun, that's all.
I mean, I have mage hand cantrip, so I could try moving these ropes from afar and see if anything happens. Does that seem like a good idea?
That seems like a safer bet than my plan, which is to do a cool stealthy flip up into the ropes and climb across them.
Or mine, which is to eat my way through them.
Am I going to be able to like climb this rope? Because I'm supposedly very, very large.
You don't necessarily know like how much weight this sort of network of ropes is going to be able to support, because like I said, there's like a bunch of ropes tied together on the ceiling, and then sort of from that network of entwined ropes, there's just a bunch of these ropes hanging down with like bits of metal and glass tied to them. It sort of reminds you of wind chimes, actually. So you sort of intuit that at least sort of the obvious purpose of this whole setup would be some sort of noisemaker.
I think somebody home alone's the Goddess Repose.
Right. Okay. So moving them would just trigger whatever it was.
Yeah, these ropes are hanging close enough together that even just a slight nudge would probably cause a little bit of clanging and clinging.
Let's
All right. Well,
I vote mage hand them and see what happens.
Well, I had another thought. How far off the ground did you say the bottoms were?
They hang almost to the ground.
Oh, okay.
You could try to crawl underneath, but it would take some dexterity.
Oh, I got this.
Let's see. What's my dexterity? Oh, pretty good. And
Yeah, actually, I would call this a stealth check, since essentially you're moving
Oh,
to
even
try
better.
and avoid making noise.
okay.
All right, I'm gonna Catherine Zeta-Jones it through the rope.
All right, make your stealth check. Actually, make it with disadvantage, because this is sort of a difficult setup to move through.
Okay. 20.
Okay, so yeah, you,
Wait. Okay.
Yeah, not a critical 20.
Oh, gotcha.
I would also like to attempt this stealth check.
you and your big bear body are gonna follow Mouse Grouse through this, this obvious setup?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if there's like a switch or anything I can disable this stuff on the other side.
No, let's resolve this. How close is Decim following behind?
All right, so wait, hang on. Can you tell me what my dexterity is? Because I actually can't have the recording and my character sheet up at the same time.
Sure.
But it's not as good as mine.
Dexterity is 14. Stealth's not proficient, so you're getting a +2 on this roll. And remember, it's disadvantage.
All right, I'm willing to take that risk.
Okie
For
dokie.
all of us, you're taking that risk for everyone.
I'm just going to hang back a little ways.
Yeah.
A little discreetly. Oh, wait. Hold on, though.
Uh-huh.
Before, hopefully, before any of this happens, I wanted to use one of my bard skills, which is bardic inspiration.
Okie doke.
So, wait, how many of these do I have? Oh, maybe I can only one.
I think it's 1 per bard level per long rest.
Okay, so I have like 6 of them. Good.
Yeah.
I
I think so. That's off the top of my head, but I think it's right.
Also, Grouse, you're gonna be really mad, but I got a natural 20 and an 18.
Okay, so you also get a 20. What the heck?
All right,
okay.
well,
I am
let
the
me.
stealthiest bear alive.
Okay, well, it's not really needed, but I want to do this anyway. Bardic inspiration. So I'm gonna target all 3 of you guys, which means I'll take up 3 of my little charges. Choose target other than self. Target can add a die roll to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. You can wait until after rolling to decide to use it, but before you know if you succeeded or not. And yeah, I'm level 6, so you would do 1d8. You would get 1d8.
Okay, so yeah,
additional.
basically Skullbutt's just giving you like a little bit of a motivational boost. So on, one of those checks he mentioned, you can roll an extra d8 and add it to your d20 roll.
That's for this one?
That's like whenever you want to use it.
in the next day,
essentially.
Cool.
I think.
Oh, I'll hang on to that then. Thanks,
Okay.
buddy.
Okay, so I guess I have to describe what happens now.
I'm looking forward to this.
So Grouse starts off into this sort of perilous corridor, slinking low across the ground, and sort of just dodging between these low hanging ropes and hopping up on walls, that sort of thing, just expertly avoiding them. And then Decim follows him with his ridiculous big bear body and follows in his exact footsteps and does perfectly. It makes zero goddamn sense at all. Welcome to our Getting to Know You segment. This is the part of the podcast where we all become better friends just by learning a little bit about each other outside the context of our usual role-playing game. So I didn't really prepare a question for this one, so I thought we might just use this time to learn a little bit about our new player Jake. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, and we'll go from there in the conversation.
Sure. I live in Providence, Rhode Island, and by my day job is I'm a tech support person for a software company. I work out of my apartment, and then I'm also a musician, singer, songwriter, and I have a ridiculous number of podcasts, including this one now. Yeah, I like cats.
Is the stereotype about tech support true, that like 90% of the time you're just telling people to restart their computer and try again?
It's not quite. Well, there's a saying in tech support, which is that talking, whenever you're talking to someone on the phone in a tech support call, the person on the other end immediately becomes an idiot, and it works both ways. So actually, the other day for part of my job, I had to call tech support, and what a nightmare.
Oh boy.
Tech support, the worst. I mean, it's for a specific software piece of software, so I'm not actually having people reboot that often. But there are certainly a lot of questions that are in the manual, but people don't read manuals anymore, if they ever did.
And you also mentioned that you're a podcaster. About how and when did you get into that?
Let's see. I guess it was about 3 years ago. I listened to way too many podcasts, and many of them on the Maximum Fun Network, as I think you guys do too. And I got this idea for, like I had been sort of thinking that maybe I should start a podcast, but I couldn't really think of a good idea for one. And I got this idea of, as a singer-songwriter myself, I feel like there's not a lot of opportunities to talk about a single song in any kind of depth. Like if you're on stage, you pretty much just want to get on to the next song and not waste people's time by talking. And then if you're in the rare occasions when I've been interviewed or something, it's not about a particular song. It's always about like an album or kind of something more general. So I started this podcast called Tell Me About Your Song, which was the idea is, I talk to a songwriter about a song that they choose, and we just sort of go through it. And I started this in September, and then the following January, Song Exploder started, which is a very similar concept. But by that time, like if Song Exploder had already existed, then I wouldn't have started my podcast, because I would have been like, well, that already kind of exists. But by that time I had gotten a taste for it, and I decided that there were enough differences to make it worthwhile. So I was stuck with it.
You're on a D&D podcast.
Yeah, well,
yeah. Yeah, there's only like 2 of those, right?
I guess what I mean is that like there's, that's the thing that's kind of cool about podcasting is like it's there's room for a lot, because unless you're trying to make, This American Life or something like that, like it's sort of okay if it's a crowded field.
Yeah. Well, once I started one, then I was, but the first time, like I was like, oh, I'll have to buy all this equipment, and is this really something I need to do? But it was a podcast that I, if it didn't already exist, I would have wanted to hear. So I figured I would take the plunge. But nowadays, like, I have 5 podcasts. Like, it's difficult to get me to stop not making a new one.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really cool about podcasting is that there is like such a low bar to entry. Like, I do solidly believe that anyone could make a podcast, and there is like just so much such a large range of like what topics you can cover, and like even sort of what production values are acceptable. So yeah, like I think as long as you've got a good idea, then that's pretty much all you need. I mean, there's some technical stuff you have to deal with, but like most of it you can learn in a weekend.
Yeah, and I was guest co-host on a podcast that interviewed Travis McElroy, and
oh, awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was the worst Skype connection I've ever had, so it was kind of like sending telegraphs rather than having a conversation. But nonetheless, it was interesting to talk to him. And one of the things that he said is like, you'd either, if you want a successful podcast, probably you either need to like have a really strong concept or just be really interesting to listen to, and ideally both. But like he says, my brother and me, an advice show podcast isn't a super innovative concept or anything, but they kind of make it work. Whereas like I think he gave the example of the worst idea ever as a show where you just hear the concept and you're like, well, that's an interesting thing that I'm in for an episode. A podcast I have never listened to, but nonetheless, the principle stands. Yeah.
And it's really interesting to hear about like super experimental podcasts like that, like that show where they just watch the same movie every week and review it every time.
Yeah, that's the one. That's
and even the other podcast that those guys and the McElroys are doing together, where they review the same movie every year until the end of time.
Yeah. I like that. I really like how people can experiment with different things in podcasts, because like there's no one there to stop them, basically.
It's like a hugely versatile medium, and it's great to see it like being explored in interesting ways like that.
I would preface though that the like anyone can do it or anyone can be, just to like ground us a little bit, it is something that you have to like have resources, and I think that's the thing, and that's one of the things why there's not a ton of I would say diversity of voices, and why it's like a lot of like middle class white people. Is you have to like pay to have it hosted, and there is a layout for equipment and software and things like that, and then for making it successful or being able to generate income, you have to have access to an audience. And like I think the McElroys are a good example of that. Like a lot of the stuff that they've done maybe wouldn't be successful if they didn't get in early and have a big listener base and a background in radio production from their dad.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm recording in this basement studio space right now at a place called AS220 in Providence. And one of the reasons why I'm here is that there's this thing, AS220 Industries, where they have resources that people can get access to for like fairly cheap. And so I'm trying to encourage them to like spend more resources on podcasting. So, they have computers and microphones and nice things, so that people who aren't necessarily able to, afford that, would be more able to do something like that. That's something that I really think is important, and I hope. Because there's a thing in Boston called the Podcast Garage, which I went to, which was really cool, which is kind of similar, but it costs $60 to rent it out for, I forget, 4 hours or something.
Oh wow, that's an expensive podcast.
Yeah. So that's like a cool idea, but the implementation is too expensive. But AS220, they have a lot of expertise with that, and their prices are already lower. So I just think that there's a real opportunity there.
Cool. So yeah, I hate to cut this conversation short, but I am looking at the time here, and I think that makes it about time to wrap up this conversation and continue on with the adventure. So you make your way through these hanging ropes, and on the floor near the end of the corridor are what appear to be a pair of torch sconces, but they hold round glowing crystals very near to the floor. So they're sort of casting light into the next sort of small cavern, but from a very low angle, casting long shadows across the floor. And so this next room is pretty spacious, and a small river runs through from one wall to the other. And in this room, as of yet unaware of you, is a small lizard-like creature who is just apparently doing some laundry in the river. They've got, a basket of wet clothes, and they're sort of, scrubbing on one of those washboards. And so
Did we find Boober Fraggle?
I don't get the reference, but I'm going to say no.
Oh, you're
He's a
so
Fraggle who
young.
loves doing laundry.
Yeah.
Keith, our age is showing.
Yeah. So this small creature hasn't noticed you. You're still sort of in sneaky mode. And in front of you is this sort of torch sconce casting light. So what do you do?
That was kind of amazing, I have to say.
Told you, we're professionals.
I could try climbing under the ropes. I don't know, Audryn, what are you thinking? I mean, we could just leave them at, to go check it out and then act based on whatever happens
We
there.
don't necessarily have to kill this guy, right? Like, he might just be...
Yeah, this seems to be somebody just
Hanging
doing
out.
their laundry. Like,
Yeah, well, I guess we're not really participating in that part of the conversation necessarily.
I'm
but-
gonna hang back, but I'm just going to quietly grab my my sort of dirt blower thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I'm
Yeah,
looking.
Audryn and Skullbutt, this corridor is longer than 60 feet. So Skullbutt, your dark vision doesn't sort of go that far, and it's all obscured by ropes, so you can't necessarily see what's going on with Decim and Grouse after they disappear down this corridor.
Yeah. So I guess I'll wait until I hear them shout or I hear some kind of disturbance down there before I take any further action.
Can Grouse and Decim sidebar without this little lizard guy hearing it?
Yeah, you can whisper, and I'll roll to see if they notice you.
I mean, yeah, and you
Cool.
can also speak not their language.
True.
Yeah. So we'll go common. Decim, go talk to that guy. I'll be sneaky in case the things go bad, and then we can get the jump on him.
All right. So I have a plan.
Also,
Just
be
follow
cool.
my lead.
Decim, be cool.
Okay. So Keith, I have a question about the situation. So this person's at the river doing their laundry,
Yep.
and their back is turned to us.
Actually, they're sort of facing you, but they're focused on their work, and they haven't noticed you yet.
All right, I have a plan. I'm gonna act upon it.
Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna stay hidden. Do I have to do another stealth check or just not go up to the guy?
No. If you're not moving or anything, you don't have to do another stealth check.
Cool.
All right, so I walk up beside this fool,
Okay.
and I plop my bare butt down and say, I'd really consider using a different detergent.
Okay. This small creature is going to let out a little yelp, and
Whoa! I don't appreciate your little yelp. Calm down.
and they're actually
Please don't gaslight the lizard.
they're going to drop what they're holding, just letting that washboard and in the current article they were holding just fall into the river where it starts to drift away, and they are going to outright sprint towards the wall of the cave that is on the far side of that is opposite the entrance. So if you wanted to, you could attempt to grab this creature or attack or do something in that manner, or you could just let them go.
I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna take that cool ass washboard.
Great.
Start my garage band with Skullbutt.
Right. Okay. So you have a washboard. It's a little small for your hands, but you can add it to your inventory.
Can I try to stop him as he's running away?
You're still at the
On the other
entrance.
end? Okay.
So the creature is going to reach the wall of the cavern and scramble up it to sort of a narrow gap near the ceiling, which they scurry into.
Is it like a hole, or is he just like hiding up there?
That's a good question. They disappear from sight, so if you wanted to investigate closer, you could.
Yeah, I'll go investigate closer.
Okay.
I got 22 on an investigation check.
Oh, okay. So you climb a little ways up the wall and peek into the small gap, and it looks like the gap actually leads to a tunnel. And while the creature has disappeared out of immediate sight, you can hear a sort of panicked breathing coming from, sort of echoing through. So they've sort of disappeared from immediate sight, but they're still close.
Okay.
I feel like a jerk. Can I fold this fool's laundry while they? Like,
at least probably get the thing he dropped in the river.
Still keeping the washboard.
Hey,
though.
buddy. We're not gonna hurt you.
Just go away. Leave me alone.
Probably not gonna do that, but we're trying to figure out how to get through this whole thing. You're the first new friend we found along the way. So we were hoping you could tell us about what's going on inside this big dead goddess.
So I'm actually gonna have you roll just a charisma check to see if what you're saying, or have it be a persuasion check if you're proficient, just to see if what you're saying calms down this person at all.
Man, 22.
Okay.
The rolls are going well so far, so I feel like as soon as we get in a fight, I'm gonna die immediately.
So they sort of peek their head around the bend where they were hiding, and they say, "Are you an adventurer?"
Yeah, I'm super good at it too.
I don't like adventurers. All they want to do is come through and hurt things like me.
Nah, we just gotta find. We're looking for somebody. We're not trying to hurt anybody.
You don't want to fight?
Not you.
No weapons or hurting?
I have some, but I don't want to. Look, I don't want to use them. I just want to find a little porcupine lady with a flute.
I haven't met anyone like that. Maybe in the city.
I mean, we were just there a while ago, and she wasn't. Also, what's the deal with the ropes?
Noisemakers. We have to, it helps if we know when they're coming.
Cool. Well, we
have lots of places to hide, but we don't like being snuck up on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. But I've just got some more friends on the other side of those ropes. I just want to make sure they can get through without getting all like crushed or exploded or whatever.
No traps, nothing like that. I'm not here anyway.
Oh, aces. All right. Yeah. And I'll call back to the other guys that they can come through, and it's cool.
Okay.
They're cool. You'll like them. They're nice. You like goats? They eat invasive species.
I guess that's fine.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. When I hear you say giving the all clear, I'll come through.
When you said they, you don't want when you want to know when they're coming. Who are they?
Other adventurers, people like you, people who don't talk first. They have weapons and they use those.
So not cool, nice guys.
Yes, there are so many who come through here. We have to be ready for all of them. There aren't many who just want to talk.
Well, what do you just live in here?
Yes, I live on a farm, near here.
And this is just like your cool laundry spot?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right on. Decim, did you get?
And with the mention of laundry, she actually sort of crawls a little closer to the gap and sort of looks out at all the wet clothes she's left sort of scattered around, and she eyes Decim holding the washboard.
I said I was folding the laundry.
Oh, you're folding it.
I'm being a nice guy.
So she says, please don't take that.
No, we're just helping you out because we startled you. Look, maybe having a giant bear sneak up on you wasn't the best plan.
Oh, I didn't sneak up. I just walked over and sat down.
I mean, you did sneak through all the ropes with surprising skill.
Okay, so they're going to say, my name is Kiga. Who are you?
I'm Mouse Grouse. Half grouse, half mouse. And these are my friends Decim.
I'm your bad news bear.
Yeah, it's my bad news bear Decim. My girlfriend Audreyn, and Skullbutt. He's a cat. He's a recent addition to the group. We don't know him super well yet. I think you'll like him. He seems cool.
I wave.
Okay, so she's going to say, you said you've been to the city? So you've been through here before?
Not through this part. First time hanging out in this dungeon. I've been in mad dungeons before.
Which city? Heart City? People usually show up not in the city.
Look, I don't super pay attention to my surroundings all the time.
We're from the 100-acre wood.
Yeah, I don't have the answers to that. I don't know. Hey guys, what city were we in?
100-acre wood.
Skullbutt would know.
Yeah, Skullbutt. Where do we meet you, buddy?
Well, let's see. What's a good name for a city?
So yeah, like I said, it's been a couple of months since you met Skullbutt. You've been on the road for a little while, and actually, in the mountainous region you've been in, there's not like a lot of cities or towns in the area, or even a lot of people. It's been a few days since you've even made contact with another group of people. Although like you thought you might have seen like a group of deer people like on the edge of a nearby forest, but they didn't come up and say hi.
All right. I'll say, I think the last big settlement we were in was Des Moines, but I think he's actually talking about someplace in here.
There's like a city in this dungeon?
Rather. Pardon. What?
You guys got dungeon cities?
So she says, yes, it's Heart City. It's where all the adventurers go.
Why?
Because that's where the door is. Well, it's above the door, but...
Door?
Cool. So I guess that's where we're supposed to go.
Say more about that.
No, I'm convinced. Hey, great talking with you. I'm going to go find this door.
Okay, so she says, yes, there's a door. It's kind of hard to miss on the way to the city. But yeah, I'd say it's hard to open. No one's ever done it before.
Geez. Oh, jeez.
What would you say are the pros and cons of going through the store?
I don't know. No, I've never done it myself. People go to find the door, then they can't open it, so they go to the city.
I know one pro to opening the door. Bragging rights.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I suppose so. They say that's where the treasure is, but I don't know how they think they know that.
Why not?
No one's ever been through.
Oh.
Huh.
I thought maybe she knew something we don't.
So she says, listen, if you wanna get to the city, just go up. There are some traps along the way, but I can, if you're not gonna hurt me or anyone, then I can go on ahead of you and take care of those for you.
So,
well, for sure not you. I'm not ready to commit to not hurting anybody.
Then she says, well, good luck.
Look, I'm just being honest. Sometimes people gotta get cut.
Maybe you said this and I missed it, but so you're not an adventurer. Where are you? Just like from here?
Yes, I live on a farm nearby.
But like, how did you get here?
I was born here.
What about your parents?
How?
One lizard loves another lizard.
No, like where did they come from?
They were also born here.
And where did their parents come from?
How long are we gonna do this?
Until you stop us.
I'm stopping.
So, centuries, though, right? We're talking centuries.
A long, long time.
Yeah. All right.
Hold. What is the average lifespan of a lizard? A long, long time might be like 6 months.
Let's see.
Wait, that would be if they
Kobold,
were
I
like
feel like-
flies or something.
Yeah. I don't know canonically how long kobolds live, but it's definitely like less than a human lifespan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to get a sense of scale.
It's not like a matter of months though.
They're not like fruit flies.
Nah.
My family's been here for generations. We got here yesterday.
She hasn't been aging visibly.
I got Volos here. I could probably look it up real quick, but let's not bother with that.
So, so the adventurers end up at the city, and then they just live there? Like, do they... I guess you probably don't go near there, since adventurers are often not nice people.
Not often, no.
Yeah. What did they get up to there? Do you have any idea?
I mean, I don't go up there very often, but they live there. Sometimes they go down to Torso Land for adventures. You know, people passing up and down through here.
Sure. Who hasn't gone to Torso Land for adventures?
Oh my. Jacob, I thought better of you.
Get that idea out of your head, sir.
Nope.
This euphemism is completely lost on Kiga. Being a lizard, she doesn't exactly have, you know.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds.
She just sort of looks around confused. She got no idea what you're all laughing about.
It's mammal stuff. Don't worry about it.
So
I
all right.
fist bump Skullbutt.
So the heart. All right. So
when
the
you
heart is where
fist
the
bump
door is.
things, it's just punching them.
Yeah, I'm a little wary of these fist bumps at this point. So there's the heart.
Yeah, it knocks you back a little bit.
And then above that, so the city that we're talking about is, I'm just sort of thinking it's probably like roughly where the head is. Is that kind of what we're thinking?
I mean, it's Heart City. So
Oh, it's Heart City.
probably in the chest. I would
Okay.
imagine.
Oh, I gotcha.
I'm probably the one to like not be able to say this, but like being able to make use of a dead goddess's body and turn it into like a living situation is really morbid.
Where did we enter?
We said the magic words, and we got transported.
Don't say the
in
butt.
there.
Don't say the butt.
No, so Kiga sort of gestures to, I guess, around her diaphragm and says, "We're about here," and then she gestures to her sternum. This is Heart City.
Okay. So we're not like we're partway there. We're not like in the toe or something.
Yes.
Yeah, let's. I don't know.
No, you can't go in the legs. They're, holding the place up, so no tunnels there.
Mm.
All right. Well, let's.
I don't like your negative attitude.
I don't like your profession.
Whoa,
Ooh.
just for your attitude, I'm keeping the washboard.
Goat? Excuse
No.
me. My profession is biological containment agent. You said you have a farm. Are there any invasive species on that farm that you need taken care of?
So she pauses to think for a little bit. We'll talk later.
All right. Here's my card.
All right.
While Audreyn was waiting with Skullbutt over on the other side, she was like scribbling on parchment, like Audreyn Thwaite, biological control agent. Have vines, will eat.
All right. Well, I appreciate all the information you've given to us. I feel like we should probably go up.
I appreciate not being attacked with a stick.
You know what? Anytime.
Well, it would be a lot easier for us to get to Heart City without, having to fight anybody if you kind of led the way. Otherwise, some fools might get cut.
So she looks around and says, okay, you promise no weapons.
We
You promise?
What?
No
I
weapon.
mean, we all have
The only
like,
weapon that I'm bringing is my devilish bear good looks.
Define weapons.
Anything that causes bodily harm.
But like my teeth.
How much of a
do that.
definition do you need?
But what about my fists of fury?
No, I think we're looking. I think that our friend here is looking for more of a promise rather than like we're not leaving things anywhere, are we?
Also, Tar, now that you're a goat, I think you have fists of furry now.
Oh, dang. That was a pun.
Right.
I felt like Heath was just waiting on me to make that joke at some point, and now he's just so relieved that it's out of the way.
Oh, here,
yeah,
I got
finally,
it.
that's over with.
Kiga, here's the deal. We won't use our weapons unless you are in danger.
All right. And she hesitates for a second, and then sort of crawls out of the gap where she's been hiding, and she sort of glances at Decim and says, "You'll give me back my things."
I'm keeping the washboard. You were rude as hell.
She sort of glares at you, but
All right. You can have it, but only if you can reach it.
Okay, so I guess
Audreyn takes one of her cloven hooves and just like stomps on Deckham's foot.
okay, and then Decim, since Audreyn is messing with you, I'm gonna have you make an athletics check at disadvantage.
All right. What is my modifier?
Athletics, so it's strength, and I don't think you're proficient.
Okay, just tell me what to add to my 2 rolls.
Your strength is +1 right now.
All right, so 11 and 13.
Okay, so that I guess is a 12. So then while you're sort of I guess while you're hopping around on one foot after being hoof stomped, Kiga is actually just gonna really quickly crawl up your leg, then up your shirt, and just hop off your body and just like grab the laundry basket out of your hand, and land on the stone floor of the cave, looking a little bit satisfied with herself.
But she didn't grab the washboard.
And yeah, she took the washboard as well.
No, I need that for my band.
I have a drum you can use.
All right, we're set.
If you wanted to play the washboard, you should have been an otter. Sorry, go ahead.
And then she's gonna crawl back up to the small gap and stash her stuff in there, and then she's gonna climb down and say, "Okay, let's get going." So she's going to lead you back out through the cavern with the noisemakers and start heading up the stairs.
Oh, see, I was right all along.
I like to imagine like how Grouse is like dealing with stairs.
Yeah,
I imagine a great deal of scurrying.
So
Yeah.
much scurrying. That's literally one of my race features now.
Scurry?
Yeah. On a miss, I can disengage as a reaction with no attack of opportunity.
So the steps are narrow and close together, as if they were made for creatures much smaller than humans. So actually, these stairs are sized pretty well for Grouse.
Yeah.
The stairs terminate at a small landing, which immediately branches into 3 narrow stone bridges, and each bridge leads to a separate tunnel on the far wall. So Kiga is going to dart across the rightmost bridge and into that far tunnel. And if you follow her, you find that the rightmost path leads to a tunnel that spirals upwards and comes out on the next landing a little ways up. So you find yourself staring back at the central cavern with crisscrossing stone bridges. However, the bridge you already crossed is now below you. Before you is only one stone path, and it isn't in the best condition. A large section from the center of the bridge has fallen away, and in its place is an old solid tree trunk spanning the gap. It is held in place by a number of ropes anchored to the stone bridges above. So Kiga looks back at you and sort of looks at the rope holding up the bridge, and especially she looks at Decim, seeming to do calculations in her head. And then she holds up one clawed finger and says, "One at a time," and then darts across the darts across the tree trunk to the other side.
Decim should probably go last in case it breaks.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the nicest way to say that.
Is it because I'm fat?
Because you're a giant bear.
Excuses.
Well, how long is the bridge, you said?
It's not very long, maybe about 6 or 7 feet. Or, well, I mean, the tree trunk is maybe about that long. But yeah, the bridge is, yeah.
Well, here, I have rope, so I'll give one end to Decim, and then I'll run across, and then in case it breaks, we'll tie it off the other end.
Okay.
All right, I'll go next. Once it's secure, holding onto the rope.
I'm gonna Billy Goat scruff my way across this thing.
Okie dokie.
I get it.
Hilarious. Okay, so then as Decim steps onto the bridge, the ropes start to creak and the bridge sways a little bit, but it holds up as you make your way across.
It's because of my Atkins diet.
You eat all meat?
So Kiga has actually already disappeared into the next tunnel up ahead, and you hear her saying something in a low voice, and I guess Audreyn would be the only one able to necessarily tell what that is. So I guess make a perception check.
21.
Okay, so you hear Kiga say in her native kobold, "Hey, there's some adventurers coming through, but they're not interested in fighting. Just clear out and it'll be okay."
I'm gonna relay that to the rest of the group.
Okay.
I feel like we're doing a speed run here.
Yeah, kind of. Getting on Kiga's good side definitely is gonna make it a little easier.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna tell the rest of the group, like, there are some people in there, but she's keeping her word and not turning on us.
Yeah, friendship.
Okay, so you make it to the tunnel on the far wall, and you by the time you get there, it seems that whoever Kiga was talking to have already cleared out. So in this tunnel, the path before you abruptly becomes vertical. There is a rock wall in front of you with a gap roughly 20 feet up that looks like it leads to the continuation of the corridor. Luckily, the ascent is narrow, so you can brace yourself against opposite walls, and the rough stone surface looks made for climbing. There are also 3 ropes strung horizontally wall to wall at 5-foot intervals that look like they could make for useful handholds. So Kiga scampers up the wall and looks down and says, "Don't touch the ropes."
Yeah, I'll scurry on up there.
Okay, make an athletics check.
Critical 20.
All right, so you bolt up the vertical surface. You're using your small little mouse hands to easily grip onto the numerous handholds.
Yeah, I'll give it a try too. Let's see, athletics. So I'm +2. 5. 5 total.
Okay. So you make your way. You start making your way up the sheer surface, but your hand slips and you don't really have a good foothold. So you involuntarily reach out and grab one of the ropes. So make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, that's +6. I rolled a 6, so that's 12.
So you hear a rumbling as some mechanism attached to this rope goes click, and then before you know it, a bunch of boulders are tumbling down on your head. Okay, so you are going to take 14 bludgeoning damage, and you're going to get knocked off the side of the wall. And Kiga's going to sort of smack her forehead and cover her eyes.
Okay. I'm going to, stand up and look like I totally meant to do that.
Like a cat would.
Let's see. So I think that's 29. All right. I guess I'll try it again unless...
Okie doke. Remember, it seems like that first rope has been deactivated, but there's still 2 more on this vertical climb.
Can I get kind of far away from them?
I'll throw down a not booby trapped rope.
Well, that would be super helpful.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Do I still have to roll, or?
Yeah, no, you can climb up a rope, no problem. And since there's no chance of activating a trap, I won't even make you roll for that.
Okay, thank you.
So you all make your way up the wall. So you come out on another landing, and once again you face the central cavern. There is one stone bridge before you that splits into 2 paths, each one leading to a different tunnel on the far wall. So Kiga's going to dart out onto the bridge and scamper down the left path, but also make perception checks.
25.
16.
Okay.
13.
4.
So Audreyn hears a faint groaning coming from the tunnel on the right.
I'm gonna look at the rest of the group and sort of
I didn't tell a bad joke. It wasn't me.
You did now.
Touche.
Sort of tip my head, someone down there.
I mean, I have dark vision. Can I see if I look down that tunnel after she says that?
Sure. So you approach the tunnel down the right path, and you see a prone figure lying on the floor towards towards where the tunnel terminates, a little ways down.
I mean, that sure looks like somebody got hurt real bad. Let's check that out.
So wait, is that's a different path from the one that Kiga went down, or is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this could also be a trap. Can we find Kiga and see if she knows anything about this?
Sure. Kiga's already sort of scurrying ahead, making her way up to the next landing. But you can try to catch up with her.
All right.
Let's just shout ahead. Just be
Oh,
like, Kiga,
yeah.
I'm gonna go. There's somebody hurt over there. I'm gonna go check it out. Be cool.
So Kiga's gonna say, another adventurer? I don't like it. And with that, we're going to leave it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And let's take care of some housekeeping. Our music is provided by Ira Ray, thanks to him. Any incidental music is probably by me. I haven't necessarily written all the incidental music yet, but we'll see what happens. You can find us online. Our website is dicetomeetyou.com, where all of our episodes live, and probably by now some campaign information that I've posted. You can find us on Twitter at Dice to Meet You. So say hi, let us know what you think of the show, and get in on the conversation. You can also review us on iTunes. That'll only take you a few minutes, and it will dramatically help out the show. The more reviews we get, the easier it is for people to find and see this podcast, and that'll really help us because again, we want to get more listeners, get access to those ears, and really spread around the friendship and fun that we have on this show. So let's take care of some plugs. I also do a podcast called Friendship and Firelight, where we talk about whatever crazy nerd stuff we're thinking about at the time. That's a really good time. I host it with my friends Matthew and Ivy. I also wrote a book called Persona 5e, which is seeing heavy use throughout this campaign. So that's the book that we use to make all of our animal characters in this campaign. So if that seems like something that you think that would be a fun time, check it out on rpgnow.com.
I have a plug this week for anyone who might want something to laugh at.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Go to google.com and search up The World's Longest Joke. It'll take you about 20 minutes to a half hour to read, but I assure you, the punchline is worth it.
Oh boy. So Glenn, how about
Glenn,
you?
I think you would actually appreciate that.
Yeah, you can get my comedy album Yes Really at glentickle.bandcamp and do that. Also, there's a thing, I will plug this. I'm trying to do a thing for my friend who is my nemesis, where I want to give him an increasing number of copies of my album every day of Hanukkah. So I think he ends up with 36. So there's a thing on the site where you can kick in, I think it's $5 to like cover the expense of me basically throwing away that many copies of my album to find out what he would do with them. I think I'm up to like 8. I have enough for one to give him every night of Hanukkah. But I think it would be really funny for him to end up with a lot because he will probably do something stupid with them, and it'll be a lot of fun. And we're going to try to do videos of me delivering them every night.
Nice.
So yeah, it's listed as a gift for Ben.
I have a podcast called Death Prattle where we talk about grief and mourning, and we discovered the other day while talking about the holidays that basically every Christmas special ever is focuses in some way on death. And so right now I have some homework where I have to go watch a Hallmark Christmas movie about a widower trying to find a new dad for her son. Not a widower, a widow trying to find a new dad for her son, because that's apparently the spirit of Christmas or something. So
It's Christmas time. Get a new dad.
that episode will be out in a cut. Apparently there are a lot
Poke
of
holes
these.
in the box. You need your new dad to
Yeah,
breathe.
Talcott watched one about a widower going on a Groundhog Day date on Christmas Eve every day. I don't know. It stars Mark Paul Gosselaar. So that'll be out in a couple weeks around Christmas. For if you want to hear that monstrosity. Also, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is about death. Frosty the Snowman is about death. It's a Wonderful Life is about suicide. Every Christmas special is about death.
What about Rudolph?
No, that one's about racism.
Sure.
Oh, damn.
Ableism, I guess.
So I'm Jacob Haller, and I have a bewildering variety of things going on. But this week I'm going to concentrate on my music, which you can probably the best way is to go to Jacob Haller, JACOBHALLER.bandcamp.com. You can listen to it all for free and buy it. And I set up a special discount code. If you enter the discount code DICE at checkout, then you get half off.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
I did absolutely no calculations about that, so it probably makes no economic sense. But it's there. It never expires. You can use this if you download this 5 years from now. Anyway, yeah. Discount code DICE, and it's a lot of kind of weird / funny songs. Not all of them are weird and funny, but a lot of them are, about substance abuse and cats and dinosaurs and robots and so on.
All very congruent topics.
Yeah.
What was the first one again?
Substance abuse.
Okay, just checking.
Love.
So I think that'll...
all of it. The whole range of human experience, including killer robots. Organ theft. There's a song about organ theft.
Okay. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I might check that out. So yeah, I think that about does it. So until next time, I'm Keith McBlane.
I'm Glen Tickle.
I'm Jacob Haller.
I'm Tara Dunderdale.
And I'm Troy.
And until next time, it's been nice to meet you.
Bye.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.